Hello and welcome to Watch. Today I had many plans and I started by thinking I would get some more pairs of elytras just in case and get some more shulker shells because I need shulker boxes. So I went into the end and started raiding these entities, and I did find a couple of ships. This one was probably the smallest entity I've ever seen with a ship. Obviously, everything went well, and I got sugar shells by abusing the fact that he cannot hit me through the wall. Then I went on top of the, what is it called? I just said it, entity. This is the small entity we're talking about. The two little buildings and a ship. I went on top of it after looting it, and then from there, by increasing my render distance, I saw probably the biggest entity I've ever seen. And obviously I got Elytra from here too, because you can never know if you need another pair. And I kept killing the shulker shells. Shulker shells? No, I mean shulkers. You get the shells from killing them. Anyway, because it was so big, there was a lot more shulkers than on average, because when they hit each other they duplicate. And this is where I made the biggest mistake on the whole journey. I didn't put anything on the ender chest. Nothing. Not Elytras, not the diamond gear I found, not any of the potions, nothing. I just had that one saddle in there that I had rotting there for I don't know how long. And I continued exploring. I flew on top of this because I was, that's an easy shulker kill. So, obviously I went there. And they started attacking me from this little tube here. And there's like a million of them in there. So I obviously got this easy kill and go into this little building. Maybe I can protect myself if there's only one way where their shulker attack thingies can hit me. So obviously, after noticing how dangerous it is, obviously went right into the building and got hit and couldn't go back. Which I didn't even have chorus fruit on my hotbar, so I couldn't even teleport anywhere when I realized that I'm gonna die here. So obviously, my first task was failed, and I didn't go back. I did, but I didn't find my stuff. So when I came back, I was like, okay, I don't have food. I'm just gonna eat this cursed fruit. Forgot about the trial chambers, or more like the fact that I could possibly teleport there. So, I got attacked again. This time by skeletons, which wasn't really that nice. Like, how dare they do that? I tried teleporting out of the stronghold trial chamber thingy that's going on in here, but I just kept getting like to the same spot. I don't know how I can teleport to almost the exact same location so many times. So I just decided, hey, I'm just gonna, go back to this other way where I will go from the back of the enchantment room and so on. And obviously I got back uninjured. Don't mind me looking like I was about to say pinecone, but that's not what the animals are called. The things that have a lot of spikes in them. That when you touch them, the spike will attach to your hand and then it's stuck to porcupines, not pine cones. Of course, I started to do a little renovation in this thing that I used to have the chickens at, and it was like, oh my god, I can renovate the trial chambers. I can make them easier to move at, and I make them look better. Like, I do like how they look right now, but they don't really fit the rest of my base, and still, since I'm gonna anyway change a little bit of the shape so I can move easier into, I might as well change how they look. So I went into this spot that I remembered, or like I was remembering, had only one way out, like at the end of this room. And obviously, I was right. This room only comes back to the room that I just came from. I had to kill the mobs there, and this one was like so annoying. This is the only one I'm going to show, but how much can a breeze move? Like, I know it's kind of they thingy, they move a lot, but still so annoying. And after being really annoyed, as you do, I started to put some stairs here because I was like, I want to be able to climb this thing fast. I want to, well, that's pretty much it. I want to be able to move fast here and maybe make it so that all of the spawners can trigger at once. Like, they cannot do that anyway, but I mean, I don't want the spawners to trigger while I'm running around, so they're gonna have some walls in front of them. I just hit the table. Not that hard, luckily. Anyway, I didn't like the diorite stairs. They look too dirty. So I was like, maybe if I'll use the same block as I have used for the floors and the other stairs in my base, maybe that'll look good. But I was like, no, I want to keep the sandstone here, and it doesn't fit with the sandstone. So even though it looks better, it was like, nah, it doesn't really fit. But what if the problem is that I'm not using enough quartz? So I made quartz stairs, but then I was like, yeah, but it wouldn't make for your stairs to be like pure white. It looks a little uncanny, because if you think about stairs, everyone's walking on them all the time, so they wouldn't logically be pure white. Then I was like, okay, maybe if I just make the pillar, maybe if I make it white like the base, it'll look good. So I kept running around it for a while, and I was like, no, it doesn't really look good. What if I do like that stripe that they have on when they're made out of tuff? And I made it out of this redwood, which obviously it doesn't look crimson wood. I made it out of crimson wood, but it didn't look good. So I was like, okay, maybe upside down stairs. No, it looks very flimsy, like it's gonna fall as soon as I accidentally, hit it. I don't know. I was like, okay, this kind of looks good, but also I should have something different at the bottom, like the other pillars, because I like that. No, it looks kind of like a zebra, but I don't know if zebras necessarily have vertical stripes in there, or horizontal. Wait, I'm mixing those two up again. Anyway, I went into a different room, which has an amethyst geoid in it. I swear to God, this specific trial chambers has like at least 2 different amethyst geoids in it. And actually renovating this one went a little better, because I realized I do really like the deep slate tiles in this thing, and maybe I'm just gonna have some of the copper, because it does still fit with this one. But then I got bored, so I decided I just might as well make the 3rd story to the building. And it went fairly well. I did mix up a little bit with the stairs here, and I did put some gates on this, because with the villagers AI, they just kept going up and up and up and never going back down, which was a problem, because then they would just not work anymore. And after making the stairs, I decided, oh well, I just might as well go look for a sniffer, because I really wanted a sniffer, because I had just put a Lego set with a sniffer in it, and I was like, yes, I want one in my Minecraft world too. Like, I'm gonna have one. So I went to loot. I'm speaking gibberish right now. I went to loot these ocean, not temples, food ruins. Oh yeah, they're called ocean ruins. And I brushed through the sand again and again. I looked at the chest, which I know cannot have the sniffer egg, but they can have some nice fishing rods and a lot of coal and wheat. And since I'm gonna make at least some animal pens, not maybe to the base that's underneath the ground, but like on top of the ground maybe, I want to have hay at the animal pens. And growing it's gonna take like too long, and the villagers are gonna trample the wheat probably, because I'm trying to keep them in the places now instead of letting them run away free, because you know, it's starting to get annoying. And it's surprising how much you can actually find coal in these places. Like, I got a stack. Also, I got about a stack of wheat. And I did get some, like, 3 fishing rods with Curse of Vanishing, but I took them because I was like, hey, that's funny. Although then I didn't have space anymore for them though, so I just left them if they had Curse of Vanishing, but I did take the ones with Unbreaking, because that's good. And also, I love the archaeology thingy, but my question is, why do they have so many holes in the sand? Like, how could you possibly lose so many wooden holes into the sand? Anyway, apart from that, actually, about the sniffers came up to my mind. Why do some people think that the torch flowers should glow in the dark? They're based in real flowers called torch flowers. They don't grow in the dark in the real life. That's like asking why don't the dandelions grow in Minecraft? That's because they're raised based on real flowers. Anyway, then it was time for my next task, because I didn't find any more ruins and I was getting bored of that too. So I was like, I want to make a cute little dog, actually 2 of them, to the beach I have next to the base, kind of. And you know, obviously there was problems like these drowns, those creatures bullying me. And the fact that I'm really slow at placing planks, slabs, blocks, that's good enough. And also I made another dock, which I literally only put like wood in it, and I didn't put the supports in, so I'm not gonna show the rest of it because it has like only like campfires and some other stuff in there. And I used the pottery shards to make a pot to see if they look the same as they do in inventory, like the pottery shards, and they do, so that's good to know. I can use them for decoration. And I started to put the pillars for the pillars. Oh, they're called steel pillars if they're like supporting. I'm gonna call them supports because they're for a dock. I make this dock because I wanted to have a pirate ship, maybe. Because I do like pirates, or like the idea of a pirate. I don't really, you know the like idea of a pirate, like, why am I so bad at explaining this? Like, not historically accurate pirates, like those are fun too, but it's funnier like the more stereotypical pirate ship. And after I was finished with one of the docks, because again I left the other one to back practically rotter, which is technically good because I did make it a little bit rotting looking, although I didn't finish it, so you know. After that, I decided I'm just gonna add some barrels here because it looks cool and I can store some stuff into. And I was like, okay, but this doesn't really look good like this. Maybe I'm gonna do this thing where the I don't mean supported. They have like this little place they're supposed to be at, but it has been broken a little, so one of the barrels has rolled off of the container. Container is the word I was thinking of. One of them has. I'm gonna make a little silent moment so I can speak again. I'm gonna make a container that's a little broken, and one of the barrels has rolled off because it's broken. Obviously, that's what's happens because barrels roll pretty easily, I would imagine. Then I wanted to make a fisher's hut or house. I'm not sure which one it qualifies as because I'm not an expert on what's the difference between hut and a house. But I wanted it to have this like underneath space that I've seen on some houses, although there were garden houses and there was literally nothing else except rotting planks underneath it. I don't know why, but people usually do store stuff underneath them, but it's not like useful stuff. It's something that you find 20 years later and like, oh my god, since when has this been here? And after finishing that underneath the house part, which is not good enough to be counted as a basement or the first story of the house, I made a little outdoor thingy. I've forgotten what these are called, but I wanted to make it look run down, just like the other dog. Like the owner of this house doesn't really, stay here often, so they just keep like the inside of the house looking good and nothing else really. Like the little outdoor thingy has a broken floor and inside is tidy, but it doesn't have a lot of stuff because they're not staying here often, or maybe they're like really old so they cannot really fix this, but I think it does look cool. So then I decided that hey, this place needs a bed, and I started to dig out the slabs because I cannot put a bed on the slabs, and I also felt like them being a little higher would look cool. And I put a little wall separator here because I feel like if I lived in a house like this, the doors would really be a problem while sleeping because you have one that's like next to you and one that's where your head is. And I added a pot there with an angular port and some fish inside because a fisher's hut. And I wanted actually the bed to be lined, but I didn't have any sea pickles. So I decided that I'm gonna get a happy gas and go to the desert I've been earlier because there was a coral reef there. And the coral reef has pickles in it since I can't grow it on my backyard because you need corals so you can grow them. And obviously that led me to go to the nether and kill some ghasts to get ghast tears, and also try to trade with the piglins, but after a stack of gold they still wouldn't give me a dry ghast. And I also kept making little bridges to the nether for easier movement. But finally, after like an hour, I had all the ingredients and 2 of those cool new discs, which I absolutely love. And obviously put the dried ghast into the water. Once I was done with getting a ghast, I decided might as well make another house while waiting. Like, I can't really go anywhere while the ghast is still in the water. I might go and get a treasure. Like, I got the treasure maps from the ruins, but I was like, I'm not gonna get them now, I'm gonna get them later. And so I kept building a little hut, and I did fish little because I didn't have enough food. And I got a trident, which I noticed this sound. I just kept hearing the trident sound, and then I looked at the dock and there was a trident guy who kept hitting the dock with the tridents, as you could see. Once the ghast was grown, I went to get the buried treasure, because now I could just drag the ghast along. And the first treasure was really easy to find. It was literally like a couple of blocks from where my plan was. And the second treasure was the worst thing I've ever seen. I kept digging from like 30 different places inside the chunk, because I did know there was this one trick to finding the treasure, but I forgotten what it was. I kept counting it the wrong way, I kept looking at the wrong stuff. So just dug and dug and dug everywhere all the time, and I did this for so long that the little ghast had enough time to grow up. So I mean, I was here for like 10 minutes at least. Although taking into account how long it took to bury the second one, probably like 13 minutes, I'm gonna be honest. It did take a little time to get there. Anyway, I kept destroying the little beach until I finally at some point remembered what the trick was and found the treasure. Which is nice, you know. Always nice to finally complete what you were doing. There was a lot of iron, that's good. And I kept getting fish. Anyway, after this, because the ghast had grown as I already mentioned, I went to the coral reef to get the pickles, because I needed them to color it the bed lime. I did eventually forget to dye the bed, but I did get the pickles, so I can do that like next time. Then it was time to get the ghast back because the lead had broken, and this took honestly like half an hour, but I did finally time it right, which is nice, you know. Then on my way to continue going to the desert, I found a ruined portal which had first welcome boots and a lodestone, which is nice because I didn't know it at this point yet, but I did end up needing a lodestone. I also looted this pillager outpost once I got to the desert, which I'm pretty sure I went to this desert earlier, but it has no the new features like the flowers and the dried bushes, so I don't know if it like reloaded the desert. It also felt like it was further away than last time. But also I didn't have the map this time because I died while having it in the end. Anyway, I went to this end portal, and to my luck, it had everything I needed to finish the end portal, which is nether portal, which is amazing. So before doing that, I looked around a little bit because I was like, oh, there's a camel, I could take it now, but it's night, and I kept checking the place, which is actually this specific cave gave me the idea that hey, I could just finish up the portal, which allows me to, you know, come back here faster the next time by having a nether portal. You know, it does make a lot of sense. So I lit it up, and then I went to find a camel, which was luckily very close to the nether portal. So I just took it and attached the camel to the ghast, which, you know, it does look kind of funny when you have the ghast in a lead and then, like, you know, the camel is on the ghast, and then, you know, the ghast tries to fly a little but it really can't. Anyway, I put them to this fence post a little bit so I could check what the nether looked like and clean up a little bit around the nether portal, and obviously use the lodestone to get back here because I won't remember where this is. Like, I did save the coordinates, but let's be honest, I'm not gonna remember this. And after that, I went back home. I did actually have 2 rabbits with me, like on the attached to the camel, but they kind of ended up dying as soon as we landed because the camel started swimming upstream and the rabbits hit the floor or something. I just found their bodies later on the floor. Anyway, then I had to, you know, go down to my base, which it's amazing that the ghast fits here because this would have been so hard without that. And also, I feel like I should make that beep, beep, beep sound while going down here, but I'm not like going backwards, so technically it doesn't need it. But it's kind of funny, so every time I'm gonna do this on future, I'm probably gonna be thinking that about that by myself. And obviously I was like, I probably have enough material for video right now, and also I'm not gonna edit anymore because I have at least 4 hours of footage. So have a nice day. Goodbye.